Southern California, the home of glitz, glamour, and bling. While the rich and famous dress to impress, their cars stretch to impress. Some of these glossy monsters top out at 10 meters long, the length of a London bus. So when it comes to making the ultimate status symbol, how do they do it? You can't just walk into a dealership and buy a stretch limo off the front lot. If you want extra length in your limo, you've got to get it tailor-made. And you start by taking a brand new $38,000 car like this to somewhere like this Laguna Hills chop shop. So they can cut it in half. Just cutting this car in half would be easy. The real challenge is making sure everything works when they put it back together. The first major problem is the essential cabling, brake lines, suspension and electrics. If they aren't extended, the driver will get a nasty surprise the first time he puts his foot on the brake. The front wheels might stop, but the rear wheels will keep on turning. To stop the lengthened Leviathan ploughing through a school bus, the chop shop boys are very carefully severing and bundling up the 200 meters of wires so they can be spliced and extended with new cable. When you're slicing through a brand new prestige car, you only get one shot at hitting the right spot. A miss will send you back to the dealership with a $38,000 hole in your wallet. So the shell of the car is carefully marked out with tape along the joints and panels to show where it's safe to cut. A circular saw slices through the thin roof panels, but that's not nearly enough blade for the Chrysler's tough internal structure. So they bring in an 800-watt reciprocating power saw to slice through the sides of the car and into its guts. But two halves don't make a whole stretch limo. It needs to be 3.5 meters longer than it was when it came out of the factory. That means creating an entire new middle section from scratch. But if that much metal's left hanging in mid-air, the whole thing will crack in half like an egg the first time it rolls over a bump in the road. The solution is a pair of galvanized steel girders to create a solid framework to support the new middle section. But unless these two girders are exactly the same length, the car won't drive in a straight line. The new limo will be inherently unstable and unsafe. So the stretch team have to measure the girders more than once to check they're identical to within 1.5 millimeters. The framework's millimeter perfect, but this luxury limo is still looking a little drafty. If this car's going to hold together with an extra 850 kilos of metal hanging in the middle, there's a whole lot of work to do. Over 5 days, the crew add vertical support beams, upgrade the brakes, and fit 2 more extra thick suspension springs to cope with the extra weight, and reconnect all the suspension and brake cables and electrics. So far, so good. But limos aren't made of Lego. This one still needs sticking together. It has to be able to withstand the worst abuse a hen night can throw at it. So to make this car even tougher than it is tasteful, every beam, joint and seam is precision welded. Of course, half the fun of riding these ridiculous vehicles is looking out at the people looking at you, just in case you're someone famous. But ordinary car windows come up short, 3.5 meters short. These 4-meter panes have to be individually pre-ordered for each car from a specialist supplier. These hunks of glass weigh over 30 kilos each and will set you back $1,300. That doesn't include fitting. Now the chop shop crew have a 10-meter-long car on their hands. But you can't call it a luxury limo until it's got carpet thick enough to lose your man jewelry in. So the crew have to put the drills down and start getting in touch with their feminine side. To turn 70 square meters of cowhide into a high-class interior, they've got to sew and stencil as if their lives depended on it.